Welcome to The Intuitive Therapist with Janis Cohen, therapist, clairvoyant, empath, and medium. Listen in as she takes a no-nonsense, deep dive into real human struggles and how to resolve them. Janis will share channeled information from her spirit guide team, as well as angels and archangels, to help you master your emotional, physical, financial, and spiritual destiny. And now, Janis R. Cohen.
Hey y'all, this is Janis Cohen, the Intuitive Therapist, here on the Intuitive Therapist podcast. So happy to be with y'all today for another episode of this awesome podcast. I'm so grateful, really getting a lot of wonderful feedback. People are really enjoying the content, and I'm so happy. If you ever feel like you'd like me to talk about something specific, by all means, reach out to me via email, janis@janisrcohen.com. I would love to get your ideas and help you create the great life that you are searching for. Today, I'm going to talk about something that I feel like everybody's searching for the most part, in some area of their life, prosperity and abundance. We all have this idea or these dreams about how we'd like our life to be. Most people, when they think about prosperity and abundance, they go immediately to the idea of money and financial security. And while financial security does offer us the opportunity to indulge in life, it really does, there's so much more to experiencing prosperity and abundance. And today I wanted to look at things a little differently. I wanted to pull from a couple of concepts and topics and put them all together so that I could help you create a real clear understanding of what it means to actually create prosperity. I'm going to start off with the idea of tithing. And I really want to talk to you about what you need to know about the spiritual law of prosperity as it relates to tithing. Now, typically, and traditionally, tithing has been known as giving 10% of your income to the church to support not only the people who work there, but also really giving back to God. But if you're a spiritual seeker, then you really know that if you want anything in your life, you've got to follow laws, these spiritual laws. So, for example, there's the law of attraction, which is very, very popular. Most people have heard of that. You've heard of the movie The Secret. You've heard about aligning your emotions and your vibration to what you say and what you think. The law of cause and effect, the law of reciprocity. And actually, there are 12 spiritual laws, and I've spoken about them in a previous podcast. And I'm kind of blanking on the name of that, but I know it's there. And most recently, I did an episode about the 7 spiritual laws of success using Deepak Chopra's well-made points. And everything is connected to a law in some form or fashion. For without the laws, we wouldn't understand how to manifest the things that we want and those things that we don't want to. And I just want to emphasize that, and I'm going to talk about this in this podcast, that you can't be surprised about what shows up in your life because your vibration aligns with what you bring into your life. And that's almost the whole point of what I'm going to talk about today. So we want certain things to happen, and I'm going to talk about this more like I said, but if we have an underlying vibration that's different, and the vibration of fear or lack trumps the vibration of what we say we want, we're going to be drawing fear and lack into our lives. So I want to talk about the concept of tithing, but not in the literal sense like I mentioned to you before, but more of a spiritual sense, giving you a spiritual perspective to the act of giving part of yourself. Typically, like I said, when we think of the word tithing, we refer back to its traditional meaning, where we give 10% of your income to the church. Like I said, it symbolizes giving back to God. And tithing, of course, by history has been used to, through the church, support the people that work there so that they can fulfill their own purpose through their work on behalf of God. But I'd like to take some time today to ask you to think about the concept of tithing as something beyond giving 10% of your income to a church or giving your money. So I'm asking you to consider what the concept in and of itself means to you. The concept of giving something you have, tithing your time, your love, your compassion, your patience, and your kindness to somebody else. And I think it's great to financially contribute to a cause, whether it's a church or synagogue, saving children, the homeless, helping to financially support somebody that you care about, saving animals, research for curing diseases. That's fantastic. I mean, we can do so many things to contribute to the greater good. But I was talking with my my mom the other day about a man who won the Mega Millions jackpot of $533 million. And of course, when the jackpot is that high, or even when it's lower, maybe it's 20 million, we can't help but fantasize about what we would do with that money. So I wonder what you would do. For me, of course, I would make sure my family and friends are financially stable and set up and that they have what they need. And of course, I would indulge in my own little fantasies of whatever. It was a new car, new home, all kind of like the material things that I would like to indulge in. But then I would take it a step further. And this is really where I feel the passion of how I would use the money. I would absolutely give it to some needy causes. And for me, it's really helping people who are hungry, where there's child neglect, people who are poverty-stricken and homeless. And especially as being an empath, I'm very, very sensitive to the pain of others. And so, of course, saving abused animals. So those are things that I would contribute to, because it matters to me that there's no suffering in this world. And if I can do some part, if I can be some part of creating more prosperity, more health, more happiness, and decreasing all of the struggling and suffering that people go through, then I'm all in. So I really do truly fantasize about making the world a better place. And I would give tons of money, tons of time to be able to help others. But what if you're not the latest lottery winner? And what if you wanted to do more in different ways, but maybe you weren't so financially set? Tithing engages the universal laws of flow, receiving, and reciprocity. And it forms a connection between your individual life and the universal flow of abundance. And I'm going to share a little bit more about that. When we give of ourselves, our time, our money, our love, our compassion, and things like that, we're really letting the universe know that we trust that the prosperity that we seek is coming to us. I am not encouraging anybody to give with an ulterior motive, because that totally messes up the purpose of tithing. We give without expectation. That's the ultimate way of tithing. What essentially happens is when we have an ulterior motive, when we give something, is that, again, it connects with the underlying vibration and emotion, and maybe some people might call it selfishness, selfish intention that draws us to negativity in the form of drawing experiences and other people into our lives who also have selfish motives. So it really doesn't ever work out. We want to be able, if we're going to give, let's give honestly, let's give truthfully, let's give selflessly and without expectation to get anything back, except for the humble feeling of having given. When we focus on giving from our hearts, y'all, we honestly don't expect anything back than what we know is our divine right to have. Abundance in all forms. And we never know what that's going to look like. That's the cool thing about life. You may have forgotten, for example, that you offered you bought somebody a coffee who was behind you in the line, and you just forgot about that. And then maybe a week later, somebody pays it forward by buying your meal or doing something kind for you, and it feels like it's out of the blue and a surprise. But it's really not, because you've sent a message to the universe that I want to give, and that feels good enough to me, and I'm willing to receive as well. So giving is just a natural part of who we are, and because the act of giving is just as fulfilling as what results from it outside of us. That's the beauty of giving. And I think about all the people who are struggling in this world. Sometimes all a person needs to feel happy, even for a moment, to feel valued, is a kind gesture from another person. Things like opening the door for somebody, smiling at them as you pass them by, letting them in front of you in traffic or holding their space in line, or even holding the door open, or even saying thank you, perhaps for something that they've done. Give them a compliment, strike up a conversation, ask how they're doing today. Give your time to the homeless shelter, donate your clothes that you don't wear anymore. Give to charities that match your values. Give your time to those who are in need of companionship or love or belonging, or those who are grieving. Offering compassion, forgiveness, and understanding to those who need it, and that includes yourself. There are thousands of examples that I could give when I speak about tithing, and I guess I'm actually transitioning the word tithing to charitable giving. Really, to me, even though tithing is giving 10% of your income to a religious organization, I want to encourage you to tithe yourself in connection with those in need. When we give of ourselves honestly and genuinely and without expectation of getting anything in return, not only do we set the stage for abundance to be returned to us or given to us in more ways than we can count, but we also drive and determine our future karma. And with each decision we make and with each action we take, we create our future karma with our present behavior. I ask that you think about what you can do each day to brighten somebody's day, just because it feels good to you and it would allow them to feel loved and appreciated and most of all, respected. I can't begin to tell you how many people walk around in this world feeling like they don't have respect, or that they're judged all the time, or they're not enough. And granted, we can't change what people feel, but we can certainly offer kindness and goodness to them so that maybe in a moment in their lives, they have a sense of respect, a sense of value, a sense of significance. Abundance can mean a lot of things, y'all, to a lot of different people. So take a moment and write down what abundance means to you. Then write down what abundance might mean to other people, people you know, and even people who you don't know, maybe people who live in different countries, different states, different times in their lives. What do you think abundance would mean to them? It's a pretty humbling experience. And then I want you to think about what you can do to make this world a better place and develop a practice of giving to others on a regular basis in whatever ways allow you to feel free and liberated and good. Kindness goes a very long way in this world in which we live. A lot of times, in my opinion, you may disagree, but we kind of lack a lot of kindness and compassion these days. Everybody's out for themselves, and that really is kind of like a rule of life. But if we can step away from ourselves for a little bit and give to others, we have created the most beautiful ripple effect of goodness and sweetness and light. There's a great need for compassion and love to be shared and received. So make this day the day that you upgrade how you contribute to the greater good. And let it begin with you. I hope you enjoyed this podcast today, short and sweet. If you feel like you're struggling in any way to figure out how to get to a point to give of yourself without expecting back, or you feel like you're just resourceless and you have nothing to give, reach out to me. We always have something to give. And it would be my pleasure to help you. Or if you struggle in any part of your life with love, with abundance, relationships, anything, let me do a reading for you. You can call me at 404-558-3971. You can write to me at janisarcohen.com. It would be my pleasure to help you. And if you feel like you're ready to really dive deep, makes the changes that you want to make to achieve the goals that you want, it would be my pleasure to facilitate a complimentary consultation about how to do that and our work together. So again, reach out to me, email, phone. If you feel like these podcasts have been helpful, please go visit iTunes and rate and review, write a little review on my podcast. The more reviews I get, the more people I can help, the more exposure I get. I wish you a wonderful day, a blessed week, and as always, live intuitively.
Thanks for listening to The Intuitive Therapist with Janis R. Cohen. If you like what you heard, the best compliment you can give us is to share this podcast with a friend and subscribe, rate, and review at iTunes.